I've generated over $400,000 online with this one single webinar strategy. And in this video, I want to break down every single step of the funnel and the best practice with it. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into it. So first things first, you'll have two sorts of traffic. If this is your first time running a webinar, I recommend you run a hybrid webinar, meaning do both organic and paid ads. First of all, why you should even use organic? Obviously, you already have an audience that already loves you, already knows who you are, and already trusts you. So naturally, they're going to be willing to let you go with way more mistakes compared to paid ads. Now, why this is good, webinars, although they are actually easy overall, but still there's a lot of moving compartments. So there's actually quite a couple things that could go wrong if you don't do things right. And with organic, they'll just let you slide with it, number one. And number two is free traffic, right? So you're not risking your own money, you're not risking anything pretty much. It's just free money, right? So if you have the opportunity to use organic, always go for organic. I like to call it the house money. You just get house money and then you get to gamble with that money on paid ads. Not really gamble if you know what you're doing. It's not going to be a gamble. It's going to be more like a calculated risk, right? So for organic, post your reels, post your stories, create some posts, have a many chat that sends them to the landing page. Now on the landing page, you can create a webhook which actually autofills all of their details from Meta, and that significantly increases the actual rate because it's just way easier, right? They do it with one click. It's the same way as when you're shopping online and they just autofill your credit card and your details. It's just so easy to check out, right? So same thing here. Even better when you do it with ads, because obviously the cost per registrant significantly drops because again, less friction and way faster checkout process. So for paid, if you have a big organic audience, I'd only recommend running retargeting. Number one is super, super easy, cheap, and you're most likely to get good results. Again, it's the same audience which already kind of knows you. It's not a complete cold, but if you don't have enough organic, run cold ads. It's completely fine. And lastly, run a lookalike. Again, if you have a customer list, your email list, you have some data from your applications or people that have bought your low ticket, create lookalike audiences in your ads manager and run a set of campaign to the lookalike audience as well. So now what do we actually do from there? So on the landing page, as I said, you have the opt-in where you have the autofill webhook. And from there, after that, you don't just want to send them straight to the thank you page. And now this is especially important if you're running cold ads and you want to scale. You want to have a bridge offer. So what a bridge offer is basically a low ticket offer that you offer to them after they already register, and it's usually going to be like some sort of mini course or some resource or maybe like a little case study, just something small that it's very, very, very valuable and super easy to say yes to, and it should also obviously solve some of their problems, right? So this could be anywhere from $27 to $97. Now, most people talk about this mainly because, oh, you're liquidating ad spend, but that's actually not the most important part. The most important part is you want to optimize your webinar based on those low ticket purchasers, right? You don't just want to optimize for leads because that way, Meta is going to do everything to get you very bad leads. They're going to optimize for cost per registrant, and that's really not good because this is going to get, bad apples into your funnel, people that are just looking for freebies. So not good. You don't want to do that, especially on scale. If you're starting out, you can walk away with that because Meta's going to first target the people that are most likely, but as you start spending more, they're going to start expanding. And if you don't have your pixel dialed and optimized, they're just going to start getting in some absolutely random people, right? So you want to have the bridge offer, number one. Obviously you're going to liquidate some ad spend, but most importantly, you get to optimize on leads that are actually qualified and that you actually want in your webinar, right? So that's the bridge offer. After that, you send them to the thank you page where you just want to make sure that they add it to their calendars, join the WhatsApp group, and also you give them the lead magnet that you've offered on the initial landing page, right? So on the landing page, I forgot to mention this, you also want to offer them a lead magnet that they get just for registering alone. Again, make it something valuable, make it something they actually want. And on the thank you page, you'll basically tell them that in order to get that, you have to fill out this type form, which is basically just an application form. So you get again more data on the people that are registering, and you can also later on in the process, once you're dialing them, you just have more information on every single register that you have. And also you let them know that in order to join your Telegram group or your WhatsApp group, they need to go through the type form, right, in order to get there to actually receive the lead magnet. So that's your thank you page. From there, obviously, you have email. value dense emails. You don't just want to have reminders. You want to send them one every single day. Don't sleep on emails. If you're thinking you're gonna annoy your audience with too many emails, your emails are just not good enough, right? If they're actually good, they're valuable, people are not gonna get mad about, getting a lot of emails and reading a lot of emails. Number two, SMS. You need to have SMS. If you're not running SMS, I generally don't understand why. Yes, I know it costs something, but literally the cost is so worth. Your show rate is going to be absolutely different. So if you're not running SMS, definitely add it. Number three, to your Telegram channel. Again, send value dense messages. So, send voice notes, send videos, build a relationship, show the people that you're an actual person, that you're looking forward to the webinar. And naturally, if you're excited and you're hyped up, they're gonna be too, right? So show your energy on the Telegram. And number four, hammer them strategy. So this is again on the paid side. You want to set up this hammer them campaign, which is basically just your top performing content, your short form, your long form, and you just want to have a bunch of creatives targeted at your webinar registrants. So what that means is it's literally super cheap, and basically you're just putting your face on their For You pages every single day, right? The more they see you, the more they think, oh, I actually register for his webinar. I'm excited for that. You just want to pop up in front of them, again, every single day, and just stay top of their mind so they don't forget. They see a tons of ads. They maybe even register for probably more webinars than you actually think. And, if you separate yourself by constantly showing up on their For You page, they're going to come to your webinar, right? So have these four strategies to increase the show rate and nurture your audience as much as possible before the webinar. Now, for the actual webinar, I recorded a whole video. You can actually, I'll probably link it in the description so you can check that out. I went over the entire framework and what you want to have inside the webinar in order to convert. So feel free to check that video out. I'm not going to dive super deep into that in this video, but basically at the end of your webinar, you're going to have two options based on, your offer. I prefer application funnels, but I also know a lot of people, and I've had webinars that crushed with a mid ticket as well. Basically, if you have an offer that's below 2K, usually doesn't have to always be that way. But if it's a lower ticket offer, sell that directly without a sales team. You don't want to include a sales team for that because it just wouldn't make sense, and you can sell a lower ticket offer directly. But what you need to have if you're doing that is you need a back-end upsell, right? Most of the times, webinars are not profitable from only running, a mid-ticket direct checkout. So you always, always, always have to have an upsell on the back end, right? So whether that would be an extra 5K or 18K, whatever that looks like, have an upsell and really test out a bunch of things. Because with upsells, you need to basically do three things. You need to offer the next thing at the right time. You need to offer them the actual right thing, and you need to offer it with as little sales resistance as possible, right? So you need three things. You need to figure them out. So just, test out, see the data, see the numbers, see what actually works, where you should start reaching out to them, whether that's 2 days after they purchase, a week, 2 weeks, where exactly they should be in the journey, in the course, what type of results should they already generate, et cetera, et cetera. This is all very independent, so you got to just test and see what works for you. Now, if you're doing an application funnel, that's usually when you have a higher ticket offer, something around 5K, 4K, 18K, 25K, etc. So for this, you just want to send them to your regular, type 4 application, qualify them. If they're qualified, they get to book a call. If they're not qualified, they get sent to the downsell page. From there, you have your sales team reaching out to them, triage calling them, making sure they're, actually qualified, financially qualify them so they're not wasting time, make sure they're not lying, which, sometimes is hard, but you just got to really press them and make sure that, the calls that your closers are going to be hopping on are actually going to be qualified, right? And you're not just going to get tire kickers and time wasters that just want to see the offer, right? So from there, you either downsell them or you close them. And again, from there, if you're selling a 5K offer or even a more expensive offer, you can still upsell. It's the same principle with the mid ticket, but I've seen more application funnels that are, just profitable straight from there rather than mid tickets that don't have an upsell. Then after that, after your webinar, after your cash collect, you want to follow up relentlessly. So this is again your emails, your SMS, your Telegram channel, your setters on Instagram story. All the people that have registered are basically, same. You should treat them the same way as you would treat a VSL opt-in. So make sure your setters get to them, dial them. They register for your webinar, so they obviously have the problem. They just, for whatever reason, maybe they've waited for a week, they forgot. even though they were seeing your face, etc., etc. There could be multiple reasons why they didn't show up, right? So treat them as regular opt-ins and nurture them more, and get them into an email sequence, to long-term nurture, etc., etc. Now, the most important part is two things. Number one, I like to run pop-up events, which basically mean usually you want to aim for around 2 days after the webinar and just be like, yo, I've been getting so many messages of people that could not make it. Because of that, I decided to do this event specifically for you, because you couldn't show up. I didn't see your name, blah blah blah. Because of that, I'm running another one this Friday. Ideally the window should be around 2 days after the first webinar. And basically what's going to happen is you're just going to get a bunch more people on. You get to do the exact same thing again. And the last time we did this, we actually cash collected an extra like 40% of what we did the last one. So yeah, have that. It's gonna boost your cash collected like crazy, and there's literally no reason why you would not do that. So after the pop-up event, you also can offer a replay. That's just, again, extra revenue. Some people couldn't even make it for the second one, so then you just run a replay, have a separate page for that, have a countdown, have some urgency for people to actually go and watch it. And yeah, you can actually decide if you want to do the replay or not. For example, if you're running your webinars more often, I would even recommend don't do the replay, because then people are just gonna not feel the importance to show up live because they know there's gonna be a replay. So yeah, that can be on your own judgment. You can test it out and see what works. If you're getting a lot of sales from replays, run them. If it's not converting as good as your live, and you're seeing that it just doesn't work as well, you shouldn't even do that, because again, it's going to hurt your show rate, because people are just going to think, oh, I'm gonna watch the replay, and they never watch the replay. So that's everything for this video. I hope you guys got tons of value. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. Check out some other videos, drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment of what you'd maybe like to see. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.